Recorded Books presents The Metaverse and How It Will Revolutionize Everything by Matthew Ball, narrated by Luis Moreno. Introduction. Technology frequently produces surprises that no one predicts, but the biggest and most fantastical developments are often anticipated decades in advance. In the 1930s, Vannevar Bush, then president of the Carnegie Institution of Washington, began work on a hypothetical electromechanical device that would store all books, records, and communications and mechanically link them together by keyword association, rather than traditional, mostly hierarchical storage models. Despite the enormity of its archive, Bush stressed that this MEMEX, short for memory extender, could be consulted with exceeding speed and flexibility. In the years that followed this early research, Bush became one of the most influential engineers and science administrators in American history. From 1939 to 1941, he was vice chairman and temporarily served as chairman of the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, the predecessor agency to NASA. In this position, Bush convinced President Franklin D. Roosevelt to establish what became the Office of Scientific Research and Development, or OSRD, a new federal agency that would be run by Bush, who would report directly to the president. The agency was provided nearly unlimited funding, primarily for secret projects that would aid the United States' efforts in World War II. Only 4 months after OSRD was founded, President Roosevelt approved the atomic bomb program known as the Manhattan Project, following a meeting with Bush and Vice President Henry A. Wallace. To manage the program, Roosevelt created a top policy group consisting of himself, Bush, Wallace, Secretary of War Henry L. Stimson, Chief of Staff of the Army General George C. Marshall, and James B. Conant, who headed up a sub-branch of OSRD previously run by Bush. In addition, the Uranium Committee, later named the S-1 Executive Committee, would report directly to Bush. After the war ended in 1945, but 2 years before he left his role as director of the OSRD, Bush wrote 2 famous essays. The first, Science, the Endless Frontier, was addressed to the president, and in it, Bush called for an increase in government investments in science and technology, rather than a peacetime reduction, as well as the establishment of the National Science Foundation. The second essay, As We May Think, appeared in The Atlantic and publicly detailed Bush's vision of the MEMEX. In the years that followed his essays, Bush stepped back from public office and public view. But soon enough, his various contributions to government, science, and society began to converge. Starting in the 1960s, the U.S. government funded a variety of projects within the Department of Defense in partnership with a network of external researchers, universities, and other non-government institutions that together developed the foundation of the Internet. At the same time, Bush's MEMEX was informing the creation and evolution of hypertext, one of the underlying concepts of the World Wide Web, which is typically written in the hypertext markup language, or HTML, and enables users to instantly access a nearly infinite extent of online content by clicking on a given piece of text. 20 years later, the U.S. federal government established the Internet Engineering Task Force to guide the technical evolution of the Internet Protocol Suite, and with the help of the Department of Defense, founded the World Wide Web Consortium, which, among other duties, manages the ongoing development of HTML. While technological progress typically occurs out of common sight, science fiction often provides the general public with the clearest view of the future. In 1968, fewer than 10% of American households had a color TV. Yet the second highest grossing film of the year, 2001: A Space Odyssey, imagined a future in which humanity had compressed these fridge-sized devices into coaster-thin displays and used them idly during breakfast. Anyone watching the film today will instantly liken these devices to iPads. Per usual, the imagined technology, like Bush's MEMEX,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?